Welcome to online lecture series in organic chemistry, and we are discussing the organometallic compounds. And the last chapter from this organometallic compounds, that is the catalysis involving organometallic compounds. Now first of all, you must know what do you mean by catalysis. What is catalysis or what is catalyst? The substances that accelerate or increase the rate of chemical reactions without undergoing any chemical change, they are called as catalysts. And the chemical reaction which is carried out in presence of catalyst, it is called as catalytic reaction or catalysis. Most important thing is, a small quantity of catalyst can bring about a conversion of large quantity of reactants. It means a small quantity of catalyst is able to convert large quantity of reactants into products. This is very important because catalyst is regenerated at the end of reaction, and therefore it can be used again and again, and therefore it is responsible to convert a large quantity of reactants into products. Now catalysts influence reversible chemical reactions and allow these reactions to attain equilibrium within short time. But catalysts do not alter the equilibrium constant of chemical reaction. Equilibrium constant will remain the same, because equilibrium constant, it is a characteristic of that particular reaction. Only equilibrium will be attained within short time. Again, one more thing is, because of catalyst, or this catalyst function in a way that it provides the alternate path to carry out the reaction, alternate path of low activation energy to convert reactants into products. So the function of catalyst is to provide an alternate low activation energy path by which reaction can take place at more favorable conditions. For example, when potential energy is plotted versus reaction coordinates, then this is the curve for any chemical reaction which is exothermic. Reactants are converted into products. Now as soon as reaction is started with reactants, then first of all there is a formation of activated complex, and this activated complex has highest energy, and reactants first of all converted into activation complex, and this activated complex, it is then converted into products. And the energy difference between activated complex and the energy of reactants, it is called as activation energy. So reactants have to cross this activation energy barrier in order to convert into products. So this is the curve for uncatalyzed reaction. Suppose catalyst is not employed, in that case the reactants have to cross this much activation energy barrier. Now suppose same reaction is carried out in presence of catalyst, then this will be the new path for the reaction, highlighted with red color. When reaction is catalyzed, then it lowers the energy of activated complex. Actually the energy difference between the activated complex and reactant, this is the activation energy. This is the activation energy for catalyzed reaction, which is less as compared to activation energy of uncatalyzed reaction. So as this energy barrier is short, easily reactants cross this activation energy barrier, and there is a formation of products. Now what are the requirements of good catalyst? Now most important thing is, the best catalysts are those which are effective, that is they are able to produce high product yield, and catalyst must be selective. It must be selective. that is, the catalyst must be able to produce a desired product. It should be specific about the product, and therefore effectivity or effectiveness and selectivity, these two important conditions must be fulfilled by the catalyst. Now, one more thing is the activity of catalyst usually concern with the small fraction of areas of the catalyst that is called as active sites, and the greater the number of active sites, greater is the activity of catalyst. Now here the transition metals, these are actually the transition metals and their compounds, these are commonly used as a catalyst for variety of chemical reactions. And to metal to act as a catalyst, the requirements are, as I said, the metal should have variable oxidation state. That metal, which is a part of catalyst, or metal forms the transition metal complex, and in that complex metal is at the center and it is surrounded by ligands. That metal should show variable oxidation states. Then it must be capable of forming many complexes with wide range of coordination numbers or different coordination numbers. This is another requirement. Then the metal should have suitable bonding orbitals, which may be filled or vacant, to donate or accept electrons from the ligands. This is another important condition or requirement for good catalyst. The catalyst must be capable of finding new reaction path involving less energy of activation energy, or the catalyst must be capable to lower the activation energy barrier. Then already I told you the catalyst must be selective and effective, and it can be recycled. Most important thing is catalyst must be recycled. It can be used again and again without loss of activity. So these are the some requirements of good catalysts. So what are the types of catalysis? So there are two types of catalysts or catalysis: homogeneous and heterogeneous. Now homogeneous catalysts are present in the same phase as that of reagents. For example, if reagent is in liquid phase, catalyst is also in liquid phase. This is called as homogeneous catalysis. So in case of homogeneous catalysis, catalyst and reagent, these are present in same phase, whereas in heterogeneous catalysis, the catalyst and reagent, these are in different phases. For example, if catalyst is in solid phase, reagents may be in liquid or gaseous phase. So homogeneous catalysis, in homogeneous catalysis, as I said, the reactants and catalysts, these are in same phase. Okay. What are the examples of homogeneous catalysis? Oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide using oxides of nitrogen. Oxides of nitrogen act as a catalyst, and conversion of SO2 to SO3. SO2 is gas, SO3 is also gas. So reactants and products as well as the catalyst, all are gases. This is homogeneous catalysis. Then hydrogenation of alkenes, then hydroformylation of alkenes. These are the examples of homogeneous catalysis. Now what are the examples of heterogeneous catalysis? Manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process using iron catalyst. So iron, it is solid, whereas nitrogen, hydrogen and ammonia, which are the reagents or reactants and products, which are gases. Then another example of heterogeneous catalysis is oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide by using platinum or vanadium pentoxide. Here platinum or vanadium pentoxide, these are the solids, and reactants and products are gases. And polymerization of alkenes using Ziegler-Natta catalyst, this is also heterogeneous catalysis. Now, what is the difference between homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis? The first important difference is, as I explained, homogeneous catalysis or catalyst and reagent, these are existing in same phase, whereas in heterogeneous catalysis, catalyst exist in different phase than the reagents. This is the first difference. Now second difference is the active sites. In case of homogeneous catalysis, active sites are homogeneously distributed. Now already I told you what are active sites. These are the actually exist in catalyst and responsible for activity of certain fraction of the catalyst or portions of the catalyst responsible for activity. These are the active sites, and these active sites are homogeneously distributed throughout the reaction mixture in case of homogeneous catalysis, whereas in heterogeneous catalysis, active sites exist at the surface, because catalyst and reagents, these are in different phases, and active sites only available on the surface of solid catalyst. So this is another difference. Now third difference is a homogeneous catalyst has good selectivity. It is specific towards the desired product. It has good selectivity, and as compared to homogeneous catalyst, the selectivity of heterogeneous catalyst is less. It is less selective, and sometimes heterogeneous catalyst permits the unwanted reactions also, and therefore it is less selective. Homogeneous catalyst, it cannot be recycled because it exists in same phase as that of reagents, whereas heterogeneous catalyst can be recycled. It can be separated from the reaction mixture, activated and reused, whereas homogeneous catalyst cannot be separated, reactivated and reused. This is another difference. Now next difference is, actually homogeneous catalyst lacks the thermal stability. So when reaction is carried out at high temperature, the catalyst may decompose, so it lacks the thermal stability, whereas heterogeneous catalyst, it has excellent thermal stability. So this is also one of the important difference. And examples of homogeneous catalysis already explained: hydrolysis of ester, hydrogenation of alkenes, oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide using oxides of nitrogen. These are the examples. And examples of heterogeneous catalysis: manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process using platinum or vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst, polymerization of alkenes using Ziegler-Natta catalyst, and oxidation of sulfur dioxide using platinum or vanadium pentoxide as a catalyst. So these are the some examples of heterogeneous catalysis. Actually, this manufacture of ammonia by Haber process using iron catalyst, this is well known heterogeneous catalysis process.